Hello viewers, I'm excited to come your way again in another session in mathematics. In this particular session, I'll be discussing inequalities. Of course, you know an equation in mathematics is something like 2x plus 5 equals to 10. Okay, that represents an equation in mathematics. 2x plus 5 equals to 10. Now the presence of that equality sign is what makes that thing to be called an equation. 2x plus 5 equals to 10. And of course the simple rule is just to try and make x a subject. Now in inequality, what you have is that 2x plus 5 is less than 10, or 2x plus 5 is greater than 10, or 2x plus 5 is less than or equals to 10, or maybe 2x plus 5 is greater than or equals to 10. So what we call an inequality is when the equality sign in an equation has been replaced by one of these signs, which you can see on your screen. Now when the equality sign in an equation is being replaced by the inequality sign like less than or greater than or less than or equals to or greater than or equals to, then what we now have is no longer called an equation, is now called an inequality. So on the screen you can see that inequality is a mathematical statement that compares two expressions, one on the left hand side and one on the right hand side. In an equation, the comparison there is that they are equal, but in inequality the comparison there is that the left hand is either less than the right hand side, or is greater than the right hand side, or is less than or equals to the right hand side, or is greater than or equals to the right hand side. This is all we mean. On your screen you can see my equation being represented as 2x plus 5 is equals to 10. And of course here we try to make x a subject by taking 5 to the other sides. So we have 2x is equals to 10 minus 5, you know, plus 5 crosses equality sign and becomes minus 5. So we have 2x is equals to 10 minus 5, of course is 5. And for us to make x a subject, we have x to be equals to 5 divided by 2. That's dividing both sides of the equation by 2 to make x a subject. This is how we solve a simple linear equation. Now for inequality, we have something like this. 2x plus 5 is less than 10. Maybe the comparison there is for less than. So that equality sign has now been replaced by an inequality sign, which is called the less than sign. Okay, so what we now have here is called an inequality, no longer an equation. Now when you solve an equation, you have a value of x for a simple linear equation, or values of x when the equation is maybe quadratic or something, okay, satisfying the equation. But when you solve an inequality, you have a range of values. You can have something like x less than this or x greater than this, which is a whole lot of values that will satisfy that particular inequality. Alright, so what we have on the screen is 2x plus 5 is less than 10, and we try to make x a subject. So we have 2x is less than, we also take 5 to the right hand side, so we are going to have 10 minus 5. So 2x is less than 10 minus 5 is 5. And if we make x a subject by dividing both sides of the inequality by 2, so we have x less than 5 over 2. Alright, so all the values of x that is less than 5 over 2, which is actually 2.5, will satisfy that inequality. That means if you pick that guy and put on the left hand side of the equation any value that is less than 5 over 2, is going to satisfy. And in that particular range, there are a whole lot of values which we cannot specify completely. Alright, so x less than 5 over 2, maybe 5 over 2 means 2.5. So a number like 1 is less than 5 over 2. And if you put 1 into the original inequality, you have 2 times 1 is of course 2 plus 5 is 7. Okay, so 7 is less than 10. If you put 0 there, you have 5 as the answer, which is less than 10. So a whole lot of values, you know, are there in that range of value. X is less than 5 over 2. When you solve an equation, you have a single value or values of x that will satisfy the equation. But when you solve an inequality, you have a range of values that will satisfy that particular inequality. So solving an inequality is not different from solving an equation, only that, okay, the equality sign is replaced by what is called the inequality sign. And the inequality sign can be less than, can be greater than, can be less than or equal to, and can be greater than or equal to. Now another point I want you to notice that when you divide in equation, Okay, maybe you have minus 2x is equals to 5 or something. Now when you divide by minus 2, the equality sign is unaffected. But for inequalities, when you divide with a negative sign or you multiply with a negative sign, your inequality must change. So if I had something like minus 2 is less than minus 2x is of course maybe less than 10 for instance, and I want to divide through by minus 2 so that x can stand alone. So if I divide this by minus 2, divide this by minus 2, I'm going to have x greater than minus 5, because 10 divided by minus 2 will give you minus 5. When you divide the inequality, okay, the sign will change. If you are dividing with a negative value or you are multiplying with a negative value, the sign will definitely change. If it was less than, it will change to greater than, and if it was greater than, it's going to change to less than. That's the only thing you take note of anytime you divide by a negative value, and also anytime you multiply through by a negative value. Alright, so on your screen you can see that we have the following exercises to look at. First one being that 3x plus 13 is less than 1. We are asked to find the range of values that will satisfy that particular inequality, that 3x plus 13 is less than 1. Alright, so if we solve that, what we have is 3x plus 13 is less than 1. Just as you solve a simple linear equation, this is a simple linear inequality. So we do the same thing. So we have 3x is less than 1 minus 13. Plus 13 goes to the other side and becomes minus 13. So we have 3x is less than 1 minus 13 will give you minus 12. And for x to stand alone, of course, we divide through by 3. So we divide the left hand side of the inequality by 3. Also divide the right hand side by 3. So 3 and 3 will go. We have x to be less than minus 4. So x is less than minus 4. That is the range that will satisfy the inequality. So if I want to represent this on a number line, I have 0, I have 1, sorry, I have 1 here, I have 2 on this other side, I have 3. On this side I have minus 1, I have minus 2, I have minus 3, I have minus 4, I have minus 5. X less than 4 means, you know, on the number line, anything on the left hand side of a number is less than that number, and anything on the right hand side of a number is greater than that number. So x less than minus 4 means from minus 4 down to the left hand side. So we have something like this. At this point we have minus 4 down. Anything on that range is actually the value that will satisfy that inequality. Alright, so that's that for the first example. On the screen you can also see that 6x minus 2 is less than 2x plus 8. 6x minus 2 is less than 2x plus 8. We are asked to find the range of values of which that inequality will be satisfied. 6x minus 2 is less than 2x plus 8. So on your screen we have 6x minus 2 is less than 2x plus 8. Okay, that's all we have. So we pick like terms, very simple. 2x to the left hand side we have 6x minus 2x is less than 8. Minus 2 to the right hand side will give us plus 2. Okay, so 6 minus 2x is 4x. That's 6x minus 2x is less than 8 plus 2 is actually 10. So for x to stand alone, of course, we are going to divide both sides of the equation by both sides of the inequality by 4. So we divide this by 4 and we divide this by 4. This and this is gone. So we have x to be less than 2 here is 5 and 2 here is 2. So x is less than 5 over 2. Anything less than 5 over 2, of course, is going to be a value that will satisfy that inequality. It's a very simple mathematical operation to do. Alright, on the screen you can also see our third example is 2x plus 5 divided by x is less than or equals to 2x divided by x minus 3. 2x plus 5 divided by x. So on this screen we have the equation 2x plus 5 divided by x is less than or equals to what we have here is 2x divided by x minus 3. 2x divided by x minus 3. Okay, so we have 2x divided by x minus 3. Now if this were to be an equation where you have the equality sign, of course you are going to cross and multiply. So the same thing applies here. We are going to cross and multiply. So we cross and multiply. This will multiply this. So we are going to have 2x plus 5 multiplied 2x plus 5 multiply with x minus 3 to be equals to 2x multiply with x. We cross and multiply, so we can expand this bracket now. 2x times x will give us 2x squared. 2x times minus 3 here will give us minus 6. We are done with that. We now pick plus 5 and we do the same thing. Plus 5 with x here will give us plus 5x, and 5 with minus 3 will give us minus 15 is equals to, of course, this one is 2x squared. That's 2x times x is 2x squared. Okay, so here you can see that 2x squared is on the left hand side and 2x is also on the right hand side, so we can cancel. So, or maybe you just take this other one to the other side, see the same thing. Okay, so here we have minus 6x plus 5 is minus x. Minus 6 plus 5 is minus 1. So minus 6x plus 5x is minus x. Then minus 15 is equals to 2x squared. We take this other 2x squared to the right hand side, so we have minus 2x squared. So here we have minus x minus 15 is not equals to, is less than or equals to. We are not solving an equation here. What we are solving is an inequality. So we had less than or equals to. This is less than or equals to, and of course this is less than or equals to. Alright, so what we have here is less than or equals to. Alright, so minus x minus 15 is less than or equals to 2x minus 2x is gone, that is 0. So we have 0 here. So we have minus x is less than or equals to, we take minus 15 to the right hand side now, so we have plus 15. And for x to stand alone, of course, we have to multiply both sides now by minus 1, or we divide both sides by minus 1. You see the same thing. And I told you earlier that anytime you divide through or multiply through with a negative value, the inequality sign must change. So if I divide through by minus 1, that's taking minus from the left hand side to the right hand side now. So x, of course, is now greater than or equals to 15. Minus 15 actually, because we are dividing through by minus 1. So this other place now becomes minus 15. Alright, so that's that for that particular example. Now, on your screen you can also see that we have 2 into x minus 1 divided by 3 minus 3 of x minus 2 divided by 4 is greater than or equals to 1. Alright, that's the last example I will solve, so you can attempt the last one and put it in the comment section for me to evaluate. Alright, so we have 2 into x minus 1 divided by 3 minus 3 into x minus 2 divided by 4 is greater than or equals to 1. So we have to evaluate this. So we have 2 into x minus 1, 2 into x minus 1 divided by 3. Okay, minus 3 into x minus 2 divided by 4. Okay, minus 2, is it 2 or 3? Minus 3 into x minus 2. Okay, so we have minus 3 into x minus 2 divided by 4 is greater than or equals to 1. Now on the left hand side we have two fractions which we need to combine by finding LCM. So we draw a line here and we find the LCM of 3 and 4, which of course is 12. So you know how we go about this with fraction. 3 into 12 will give us 4. We use 4 to multiply what is on top. So we have 4 times 2 here is 8 into x minus 1. Minus 4 into 12 here is 3. We use 3 to multiply what is here, which is 3. And that will give us 9 into x minus 2 is greater than or equals to 1. Okay, so here we can expand this bracket. We have 8 times 1 is 8x minus 8. That's 8 times 1 there. 8 times x is 8x minus 8 times 1 is 1. Okay, here also minus 9 times x is minus 9x. And minus 9 times minus 2 is plus 18. Alright, and this is divided by 12 is greater than or equals to 1. It's greater than or equals to 1. Okay, so we can cross and multiply here. Here is 8x minus 9x. That's 8 minus 9 is minus 1. So we have minus x. And here is minus 8 plus 18. Minus 8 plus 18 will give you plus 10. This is plus 10. We cross and multiply at this point. So we have 12 times 1 here. So this is greater than or equals to 12. Okay, so if we make x the subject, minus x is greater than or equals to 12 minus 10. Okay, so this is equals to what? Minus x. This implies that minus x is greater than or equals to, of course, here we have 12 minus 10 will give us 2. 12 minus 10 will give us 2. Alright, so we want x to stand alone, so we are going to divide both sides by minus 1 again, and the inequality sign will change. So we now have x to be less than or equals to minus 2. Alright, so we take minus to this other side. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is our quick session as far as inequalities are concerned. And of course, in inequality, I've established what inequality is. That is a mathematical statement that establish a relationship between the left hand side and the right hand side, and such relationships are expressed as either less than or greater than, or less than or equals to, or greater than or equals to. And of course, I've shown you how to solve some mathematical exercises involving inequalities. Alright, so don't go anywhere, stick by as I take you to another topic for the class. See you there.